Hi, my name is Sarah Chang, and I'm the Communications Director here at Belmead United Methodist Church. And about 3 or 4 times a year, we have artists come and show their artwork here in our Connections Gallery. And this was created, the motto is connecting people with God, each other, and the world. And so Rita is a member here, and she's the coordinator that gets our artists here. Well, right now we're lucky enough to have her own artwork here in the Connections Gallery, and it'll be here for a few months. And she's going to tell you all about her work.
This is a series of botanical photographs that are done on archival paper with archival inks. This is called Center Stage, Tiny Dancer, and inside Perfection is the magnolia blossom over there. This is actually an orchid, and the orchid was a very tiny little piece of flower, and it enlarged to a beautiful dancing figure. This is called Sheltered, which is a hibiscus petal over a hibiscus leaf, and with a wonderful little raindrop falling right down the leaf there. This is called Miss Emily. This happens to be my daughter-in-law who posed for me in what was a very Rubenesque type of appearance, and I've loved this one for a long time. This one is called Illuminated Iris. It's backlit, which means that all the sun is coming through those translucent petals, and you get to see the light as it's coming through. This is an icon, and this year, for the very first time, I decided to study how to paint icons here in Nashville, and the original is in Moscow. It's called the Holy Trinity, and the original work was done by a Russian iconographer. So it was quite an interesting process to work with these permanent inks and with 24 karat gold on the halos of the angels. I did an exhibit at the Nashville International Airport called Insight, and that was of botanicals that were enlarged to a very, very large format so that they could show up in the airport itself. So this one is called Friends, and I like it because of the symbolism. That's what I enjoy the most with botanicals, is to see what is happening between the flowers, among the flowers, what's happening in nature. And this to me says two people, separate but alike, together but apart, helping each other. So to me, this is just a symbol of friends, being together but yet apart. This is also a part of the botanical series that was at the airport, and this is titled Eye of the Rose. As you can see, right here in the center is the very most inside part of a rose. The original rose was only about this big, and when I studied it and found out that the most interesting part of it was just in the center, I called it the Eye of the Rose. I'll take you over here to another painting that is much more abstract than I usually do, but it has a lot of symbolic meaning to me. It's called Madonna of the Storm, and this is an image that actually was done in over several years, because I started with the background, and then another setting, the figures came out, where here's the Madonna, and here's the child. Here's the godlike figure protecting them. Here's the storm coming in, the angel to protect them, and the future of the Madonna and the child. So this one has a lot of meaning for me, and I thoroughly enjoyed working on it. These two, but since it happens to be the fall right now, and we're thinking about Thanksgiving and Halloween and pumpkins and fall colors, this is a picture of a painting done of 2 children in the pumpkin patch, which is something that Belmead Methodist Church has every year. And these 2 little girls were dressed alike, and they were looking out into the distance, and it just made for a beautiful composition of the pumpkin patch. This is called Curly Pumpkin, and the main feature is the stem and how it beautifully surrounds the pumpkin. That's photography, and this is oil painting on canvas. Down the hall a little bit is another series of oil paintings, and this is called Homes Entwined. Homes Entwined is a representation of 3 homes, my mother's, my sister's, and mine. And this was done right after my mother passed as a very healing, therapeutic piece of art where I was able to think about her and my sister and the rays of light that come in and how we are entwined and connected. Lake Junaluska is a Methodist retreat area that is a wonderful place to go. And a few years ago, I was there when a storm was coming through. So I took a photograph of that right outside my balcony and came home and worked up this very stormy lake image of Lake Junaluska. I love to go to Cheekwood and paint from photographs or right in plein air, which is right there in the gardens. This one was painted in the gardens of Cheekwood. It's called Winter Tree at Cheekwood. It's a barren tree with a wonderful shadow coming down on the ground and a lot of texture in there. This was one where I was set up to paint looking at this stairway, so I call it Up the Down Staircase because I don't know whether I'm going up or whether I'm coming down, but in either case it's this beautiful setting of the flowers in the gardens at Cheekwood. This series is a mixed media called, it's paper collage on acrylic paint. And as these were done by pouring the paint onto the canvas and then just seeing what would emerge, and the papers being adhered to the canvas itself. This one is called Welcome to My Garden, and it represents me with one of my little granddaughters as we're walking through the garden here. And the figures just happen after I didn't start thinking I'm going to put a figure in, they just emerged. This one is also where the Lady of the Lake emerged out of the painting as it began and evolved. And she's looking off into the distance into a very interesting, mysterious place over here. This is called Tree of Life. Tree of Life was just came right out of the canvas as the purples and the blues and the oranges all seemed to just pull it all together. And I've loved that one as well. And then at the end of my exhibit is called Tranquility. This is an oil painting on canvas that I hope will help to just relax. I hope it will just say, this is a tranquil spot where I'd love to be at any time. Thank you.